The Palakkad Fort, also known as Tippu's Fort, is a granite sentinel of history nestled right in the heart of Palakkad town. Origins and strategic importance. Though the site likely had fortifications from ancient times, the present structure was rebuilt in 1766 CE by Hyder Ali, the ruler of Mysore. Its location was no accident. Palakkad Gap is a natural pass through the Western Ghats, making the fort a gateway between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. The local chieftain, Palakkad Action, sought Hyder Ali's help against the Zamorin of Calicut, which led to Hyder seizing the fort and recognizing its strategic value. Tug of war between powers. The fort changed hands multiple times. Captured by the British under Colonel Wood in 1768. Retaken by Hyder Ali shortly after. Seized again by Colonel Fullerton in 1783 after an 11-day siege. Finally captured by the British in 1790 under Colonel Stewart, who used it as a base for campaigns against Tippu Sultan. Architecture and features. The fort is square-shaped, built with massive granite blocks, and surrounded by a moat. Inside, the Anjaneya Swami temple, still in local use, where Tippu Sultan's soldiers are said to have prayed. A sub-jail, still in use. The Kota Maidanam, once a parade ground, now a venue for cricket matches and public events. The Rappadi open-air auditorium and a children's park called Vatika. Today these are maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India. This fort is one of the best preserved in Kerala. It's not just a monument, it's a living space where history, leisure, and local life intersect.
If peering into the mists before the granite, into the pre-Hyder Ali era of Palakkad Fort, where history fades into legend. Before 1766. The shadowy origins. While the current fort was rebuilt by Hyder Ali in 1766, there's strong belief that earlier fortifications existed on the same site, possibly centuries before. The Palakkad Action dynasty, a local ruling family, likely maintained a mud or laterite fort here to guard the Palakkad Gap, a vital trade and invasion route through the Western Ghats. The local ruler, Palakkad Action, was initially a tributary of the Zamorin but had become independent. He later sought Hyder Ali's help against the Zamorin, which led to Hyder Ali taking control of the fort. These early fortifications were probably rudimentary, built for defense against regional rivals like the Zamorins of Calicut, who dominated much of Malabar. Strategic significance. The Palakkad Gap is a 30-kilometer-wide natural pass between the Nilgiris and Animalai hills. It was the only low-lying corridor connecting the Tamil Plains to the Kerala coast. This made the site militarily and commercially crucial, a natural choke point for armies and caravans alike. Control over this gap meant influence over spice routes, troop movements, and political alliances. Historical mentions. The Imperial Gazetteer of India and other colonial records suggest that the fort existed from very ancient times, though no definitive archaeological evidence has surfaced to date its earliest form. The Palakkad Action, some say, once a tributary of the Zamorin, had become independent by the early 18th century. His appeal to Hyder Ali in 1757 was likely prompted by the inadequacy of the older fort to withstand a full-scale invasion. From earth to stone, Hyder Ali, recognizing the site's value, raised or reinforced the existing structure with granite, employing French engineers to design a more formidable bastion. The transformation from a local stronghold to a pan-South Indian military base marked a turning point in the region's history. So while the granite bones of the fort are 18th century, the spirit of the site, as a guardian of the gap, goes back much further, perhaps to the Sangam age or earlier. Sangam age's poetic echoes to the present-day hum of tourist caravans along the Palakkad Gap. While direct records of caravan events through Palakkad from the Sangam epoch, circa 300 BCE 300 CE, are scarce, we can trace a compelling narrative through literary, archaeological, and cultural fragments. Sangam era. Trade, tribes, and terrain. Sangam literature describe caravan routes connecting the Tamilakam interior to western ports like Muziris or Muchiri. Though Palakkad isn't named explicitly, the Palakkad Gap was likely part of these trans-Ghat trade arteries, used by Yamapati, pack animal, caravans transporting pepper, pearls, and textiles. The Ayar and Velir tribes, pastoral and martial communities, may have guarded or guided these routes, it is guessed.
உண்மையை சொல்லி நன்மையை செய்தால் உலகம் உன்னிடம் மகிழும் நிலை உயரும் போது பணிவு கொண்டால் உயிர்கள் உன்னை வணங்கும் உண்மை என்பது அன்பாகும் பெரும் பணிவு என்பது
Medieval period. Spice routes and temple towns. With the rise of Cheras and later Zamorans, Palakkad became a corridor for spice trade between the Malabar coast and Kongu Nadu. Temple inscriptions and granary records from Chitta and Kalpathy suggest organized grain and goods caravans, often tied to temple festivals and agrarian cycles, it is said. Kalpathy Rathulsavam, dating back to the 15th century, may have evolved from ritual processions that mirrored or sanctified trade movements. Colonial era. Military and market caravans. The British and Mysorean armies used the Palakkad Fort as a logistics hub, with supply caravans moving through the gap. Travelogues by British officers mention bullock carts and elephant caravans ferrying salt, textiles, and timber. The Victoria College archives and DTPC records hint at seasonal market caravans that coincided with temple festivals and harvests. Modern times. From trade to tourism. Today, the caravan has transformed into a tourist experience. The DTPC Palakkad promotes caravan tourism as a way to explore the region's biodiversity and heritage at your own pace. Events like Kalpathy Heritage Walks, Nenmara Valanghi Vela, and Chitta Konganpada still echo the ritualistic and communal movement of people and goods, albeit in celebratory form. These are past and its history fades into legend.
வாழ பிறந்தாயடா